Good morning to day 48 on the Appalachian Trail. We are packed up. Tent pad is empty. Everything is good. Reptile went to go get some more water. Unfortunately, the water spring is down the mountain, and it is a 0.4 walk down and a 0.4 walk up. But that walk up makes it feel more like a mile than just a half a mile. But we are headed to the next shelter here in Maryland, and we had a very interesting night last night. About 9:30, some guys came into camp, and they came off the trail, but they were a little bit loud. There was a lady that was talking with them, and usually hiker midnight, especially after the spring, is more towards 8 o'clock than it is 7 o'clock. But usually after 8 o'clock, everyone just kind of calms down. They did not. And so they were just a little loud. And at one point I said, does she realize she's talking that loudly? Like, the whole camp could hear her. And then at about 9:30, I got up to go use the privy before I went to bed. And a gentleman had put his hammock. There's the shelter area, and then there's a fire pit. And around the fire pit, this is a really nice shelter. So it has 3 benches. And not all shelters have that, but one of the benches, there's 2 trees, and he hung his hammock behind that bench on the 2 trees, like 5 feet from the fire and about 2 feet from the shelter. Like, that's not usually normal. I've never seen anybody do that. Also, a gentleman set up his tent in the shelter, which we've done that before, but again, that's not trail etiquette. Etiquette. We were just talking to a couple of people this morning, and they had day hiked into camp, and they just do go out and do 5 or 6 miles on the AT when they can, and that's great. And we're like, 5 or 6 miles, that's pretty good. And he's like, oh no, we do that, but we were talking about how we have hiker brain, and yes, hiker brain. I can't remember words. It's crazy. It's you have 5 things to do in the morning, and you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your brain's like, I don't know what to start with. And because you stare at leaves all day long when you're walking, leaves, roots, and rocks, then when you look up and you see something, it changes your senses, I guess. And that's what he said. He's like, your senses heightened. And I'm like, I really don't know if they're heightened or if they're dulled, because any activity outside of walking is like activity for your brain and your eyes, and very odd. But anyway, back to the point. I got up, went to the bathroom, realized that they had fire, the guy was in his hammock, the girl was still talking, come back and lay down, and not half an hour later, about 10 o'clock, either 2 or 3, I'm not sure because I didn't get out of the tent, guys come in, and they were drunk, high, partying, whatever. And I heard them, and they came from behind our tent. And so you see the corner of the tent pad there. And the guys, that's not the trail. The trail is way over there. Totally opposite side of the... Sorry. Okay. They bushwhacked, or just trudged up the hill from, I guess there's a parking area somewhere down at the bottom, and bushwhacked up the hill, came up off that side over there, came into camp, and I hear the guy tell another dude, if we bother anybody, we'll just give them a beer, we got beers. And so one of the ladies were pretty much isolated on this tent pad, and a lady was camping in the dirt about probably 40 feet from us, and she opened her tent, and she's like, excuse me, she's like, campers are trying to sleep here, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you, and then they just kept on talking, and then they were just laughing and walking through. That's why I couldn't really tell if there was 2 or 3 gentlemen, and they went across the campfire, across the shelter, and then down another path. And I'm like, what the hell? I didn't hear them come back. Ended up falling asleep a little after 10 o'clock. So I assume they went on their merry little way. But I decided to sleep in this morning. So a little after 7, I told Reptile, I said, I'm sleeping in. So I got up about 8:45 and we only have like 4.1 miles to the next shelter if that's where we're going to stay tonight. And I'm like, well, we can just stay there. He wanted to take it easy through Maryland because it doesn't have the elevation gain and descent and all that stuff. We do have some gain today, though. I did look, and we have about 1,000 feet. Don't know exactly up, down. Haven't looked at the elevation map on the app, but we have several campers still in camp, and he's getting water. I grabbed a little bit of breakfast. Everything's broke down, and then we'll be hitting the trail on day 48. The treadway has been very nice. It is rocky, of course, but Reptile said it feels like we're in like a state park or something. It's so wide, and everything seems to be pretty well maintained. No trees. We haven't had to climb over any trees yet. The one tree that was on trail had a cutout in it as a step, and that was great. But yeah, we've been walking for about an hour. Pretty good terrain. Very little up, down hills. We're staying up on this ridge. It is the weekend, so there are several trail runners and day hikers and people just out enjoying the weather and Mother Nature and the trail. We saw a family that looked like they were backpacking. Their packs were very large. I don't know if they are section hiking or what they were doing. We didn't stop to talk, but most of the people, sorry, I realized I was showing you the sky instead of the treadway, but many people that we are seeing on trail today are just out enjoying it. When we left camp, it was about 71 degrees. It's definitely warmed up a tad. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be today. I think it's 80 plus, but another warm day, another buggy day. I don't know if you can see Reptile. He's got his bug net on already. Oh, we have a doggy. I don't know if you can see the people in front of us, but we have a dog on trail, and most all the dogs on trail are very well behaved. But, oh. Hi. Hi. Good job. Hello.
Hey. That sounds like it happened.
Okay. Like I said, most of the dogs are very well behaved. We had a gentleman who had his dog off leash yesterday, and when he saw us, he called his dog back to him and put him back on the leash. And I've seen that happen a couple times. But most of the time, we've had well-behaved animals on trail and more hikers. So we're going to continue down. Doesn't look like we have much of a struggle today. Just basically the roots and the rocks. But the elevation, I did look at the elevation map, and we are under 1,500 feet elevation. Pretty much for the entire state of Maryland, which is so funny because when I looked at the elevation gain, it was, I don't know what it was, like 200 feet or 400 feet, whatever it was for the day. And I didn't even think twice about it because we have walked in Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, where the elevation gain for like a 3-mile trek was 1,500 feet. And here we are, I mean, almost down back at sea level, it feels like. When you go from 5,000 plus mountains and climbings, and then even in Maryland they gave us switchbacks, which was nice because it was a steep grade, but it wasn't a lot of elevation gain. But we're going to enjoy the day and keep moving on. Reptile, he's way in front of me now because I've been walking slow to make sure I don't trip while I'm trying to also look at the camera screen. All right. This is our green surroundings. I think there is a chance of rain, maybe overnight or into tomorrow. There's some ruins on the far out map of something. I'm not entirely sure. A comment said that they couldn't find the ruins, so it may just be too overgrown already in the spring to find them. But if we find anything worth of interest, I will take pictures. All right, that's the hiker pose right there. We're gonna make a sticker of a hiker pose. But all right, happy trails. So we've been walking next to this raised rock bluff for probably at least a mile. The trail, and then on this side of the ridge, just goes down. And then when you go on this side of the ridge, I know you probably can't see the rocks, but you can see how it's raised. And it's just this raised rock bluff that has a few trees and a few leaves covering it. But then you get to a point where all you see is rock. And I mean, some of it's some very large rock, like that. Very interesting. But you just follow this rock bluff. So I wonder what it looks like from down below, if you're looking up at the ridge from, I guess, the field below. Very interesting. Oh, reptiles found Yoda. Or whatever the little baby Star Wars yoga thing is called. Interesting. A lot of aircraft too. I know we're close to Arlington and DC, and a lot of aircraft. Pretty much all evening yesterday and a good deal this morning. But very interesting, all the rock. Just crazy amounts. But just makes this like lip where you would have to rock scramble to get up if you wanted to go down that side of the ridge. I don't know if you can see the rock through there. A lot of rock. And it is very rocky. But I thought that was interesting. I wonder how far we'll follow it. Alright, onward ho. Afternoon. We stopped for the day at Crampton Gap Shelter. I think we're going to go ahead and stay here tonight. We have a chance of rain. It's not very much, but it's like 60%. And the next shelter is 5 miles ahead. So we went ahead and looked, because it's only about 2:30 in the afternoon. We went ahead and looked at the 2:30 or not. I'm tired. At the shelters through the rest of Virginia, or Maryland. We're in Maryland. And trying to pace it out. So Reptile's right foot was hurting him again. Pretty much same foot, slightly different area from when he had his old boots that was hurting the top of his foot. I don't know if it's just the boots are too tight or crossed or what it is, but we decided to stop. It took us a little bit to figure out how to get water because it is running, but it is so thin. You got to dig a hole and then try to get a spout, and that took us a little bit, but we did it. Ingenious. Made our own little equipment to get some water out. But we're going to stop here. I'm going to figure out how to... You like my bug net? I forgot I had that up there. Bugs are absolutely crazy. Let's got a little bit of sun too. What was I saying? Oh, we're going to figure out how to put my gaiters on my shoes properly with the Velcro, and probably stretch and do some things while we wait for nightfall. There is a bunch of campers up the hill from us at some tent sites, and they are just day hikers, day campers. He
out
said,
for the weekend.
Yeah, just out for the weekend. But they had a huge Coleman grill and all of that. When we came up, you could smell food and their fire. And they were playing some music, so they might be a rowdy bunch tonight. Don't know. We'll figure it out. Alright, Reptile, anything to say? That's what he has to say. Okay. I'm doing great. He's suffering. I don't know what the deal is. Like, I feel pretty good. My Achilles is sore, but other than that, I'm glad to be back on trail. And every day seems to be just as hard for him. But boy, I look really cute, don't I? With my little, kind of look like I have a golfer's hat on or something. My little poof going on. Yeah. So cute, bug nets. You never know when you need them, so I just didn't bother taking it off. Alright, gotta get some chores done. Talk to y'all later. It's the end of day 48 on the AT. We are at the shelter. See Reptile in there. So, as I was setting up my sleep system, I noticed that there was a black snake in the shelter, and Reptile got that out and moved that nice far away from the shelter so that we can go ahead and sleep in the shelter tonight because it's supposed to rain. We have basically just been here all afternoon hanging out. I stretched and we ate a little bit, but I don't know why I try to make a backpack meal. They are not good to me. So Reptile eats most of my backpack meals. But I've had, I think, 2 that I could get down. But most of the time I'd just rather eat snacks, I guess. The rain tonight, it looks like there's about a 20% chance of rain on Sunday during the day. So we'll have to see if that's hit or miss. And then we'll be back on trail, headed to a campground tomorrow that's supposed to have bathrooms and showers and running water. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know, since it's not quite peak season for hiking, if that's going to be open to the backpackers or not. But we'll figure that out tomorrow. All right, good night, everyone.